again and thank you for joining me. Today's speed drawing is a simple study of my eye using Prismacolor pencils in my Strathmore toned grey sketchbook. I really love the way the Prismacolors work in this sketchbook. The more opaque colours of the Prismas work really well against the mid-toned paper, and the surface of the paper just really allows the pencils to blend together really easily without any thinners or blending pencils or any other tools. I like to start any eye with the black of the pupil. This is always the darkest part of the eye, so I start with my black pencil in this area first, and once I've got this down it makes it a lot easier to judge my values across the whole rest of the piece. I started off the colouring on this piece with the iris. You can see in this video how many times I change my mind on which colour I want to use. Usually on any full-size piece I would use my colour charts and carefully choose my colours in advance. But because this was just a study, I left myself to the freedom to make some mistakes, and I just blended in any incorrect colours into the next layer, which worked out really well, especially for that iris and sort of the more complicated colours in there. After I was pretty happy with the colouring of the iris, I moved on to the white of the eye, and you can see I didn't use anything even close to white for this area. The brightest colour I chose for the white of the eye was a cool grey 30%, and into that I blended all kinds of pinks and browns to get the final colour. Sometimes when you're drawing an eye you will see areas of bright white highlight reflecting off the wetness of the surface of the eye, but in this case I took the reference photo in my lounge room and there wasn't any really bright strong light source to provide that sort of highlight. So the only truly bright highlight you can see on this eye is on the very front of the curve of the eye, and just a little tiny line of white just along that tear line. Now you might notice that I made a big mistake with the tear duct, accidentally drawing it way too long, and I didn't realise that mistake until I'd drawn in the bottom side of the eyelid and I could see just how far off I was. Fortunately I was able to lift off a lot of the pencil that I'd already put down and disguise that boo-boo with some dark shadows from the eyelid. I drew my eyelashes first in a less blendable polychromos pencil. I had spent enough time drawing out the eyelashes first and I didn't want to lose them and have to figure out the placement all again. The polychromos pencil did smudge a little into the lighter skin tones as I placed them over the top. And if I was going to do this again on a full-size portrait piece, I would draw those eyelashes in very last to prevent that kind of smudging. But for the sake of the study, we'll just pretend I had some smudged eyeliner on. I kept the skin tones on this to a minimum, not really wanting to go into that much detail. So I kept my skin tone to a basic 4 colours. Sepia for the shadows, beige sienna for the mid-tone, seashell pink was used for the highlighted areas, and a little tiny touch of the clay rose pencil was used to add very subtle hints of pinky purple tones under the eye. Being very careful with this one because I didn't want to add a very tired bags under the eyes kind of look. When it came time to do the eyebrows, I treated them in much the same way as I did the eyelashes. However, this time that smudging kind of worked in my favour, adding a darker base to the eyebrow without me having to draw in many individual hairs. Now, I probably should have plucked those brows before using them for reference and putting them on the internet, but I wasn't thinking that far ahead. So when I had established a nice skin tone for the brow, I used a black pencil and placed in those wayward hairs over the top. So here's the end result. This was a quick little study. It took me about an hour and a half from start to finish, and I'm pretty happy with the result. I think I've come a long way since I drew this eye 2 years ago when I first started using colour pencil, but of course I can still see room for improvement. It'll be fun to see what I can do in another 2 years. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please leave a like or a comment and let me know what you think. Next week I'll be showing you some of the things that I've learned to avoid during this learning process. So if you'd like to see that, or if you'd like to see more of my work, why not hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys.